In this week's Technique Tuesday video, I'll be demonstrating left-leaning double decreases. As always, if you'd like to jump right to a specific point in the video, there are direct links down in the description. Double decreases involve 3 stitches merging into 1 stitch. When those stitches are merged, 1 stitch will lie on top, and it's that stitch that determines what sort of lean the decrease has. If the rightmost stitch lies on top, the decrease leans to the left. How the stitches under the top stitch are ordered determines whether the decrease has an extreme lean or a more moderate lean. Today, I will show you both versions of the left-leaning double decrease. Let's get started. The extreme left-leaning decrease is called the SSSK. It is worked by slipping 3 stitches one at a time as if to knit. This changes the stitch mount on the needle so that when you work them together, the result will be untwisted. So after you have slipped the 3 stitches, you insert your left needle through the front of those 3 stitches. And then you can work them together. So what you'll see is that you have the 3 stitches. The stitch furthest to the right is on top, the center stitch is in the middle, and the bottom stitch is the one that's furthest to the left. It can be difficult to insert your left hand needle through the front of all 3 stitches. So instead, you can slip all 3 stitches and insert your needle through just the first 2 stitches as if you were working an SSK. And then you see the resulting SSK, which is a left-leaning single decrease, and then you can pass the remaining slip stitch over the top. And again, the stitches are stacked with the rightmost stitch on top, the center in the middle, and the left stitch on the bottom. A final way of working the decrease is to slip the first stitch and then do an SKP decrease, which is also a single left-leaning decrease. You do that by slipping 1, so now we've slipped 2 in total, knitting the final stitch, and then passing that stitch over. After you've passed the first stitch over, you have the SKP, and then you slip the second one over and you have the left-leaning decrease with, again, right on top, center in middle, left on bottom. To work the more moderately left-leaning decrease, once again, you slip the first stitch as if to knit, and then you work the next 2 stitches as a knit 2 together. The knit 2 together is a right-leaning single decrease, and now you pass the remaining stitch over the top. So this time the rightmost stitch is still on top, but the bottom 2 stitches are reversed. The center stitch is on the bottom and the left stitch is in the center. The more moderately left-leaning decrease is pretty common in lace patterns and in leaf patterns, as I'm showing here. You can see this leaf has had mirrored decreases, single decreases, a left-leaning one here and a right-leaning one here, coming all the way up to the top. And then at the very top, when 3 stitches remained, slip 1, knit 2 together, and pass the slip stitch over was worked to kind of finish off that leaf and create the point. Each of these left-leaning decreases has a structurally identical mirror, which I demonstrated last week. But many patterns do not pair mirrored double decreases with their structural mirror. While SSSK and K3 together are structural mirrors, many patterns will pair the more moderately left-leaning SK2P, I demonstrated today, with the extreme right-leaning K3 together, simply because they are the easiest left and right-leaning double decreases to execute. Once you understand what all the choices are, you can choose whether to follow the pattern as written or use the decrease of your choice. I suggest practicing each of these decreases on a swatch to better understand the process for working each of these decreases, and then decide what your preference is. If you have any comments or questions about today's video or suggestions for videos you'd like to see in the future, please leave those down in the comments below, or join the discussion in my Ravelry group, Rocks, and there's a link to that down in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.